Hey everyone, I'm Nauman and welcome to Root and Bloom Homestead. I'm starting my summer vegetable seeds today and I wanna share with you what vegetables we're growing this season and what my seed starting setup looks like. So stick around for that. But before I do that, let me give you a quick tour of my garden and show you what we've got growing around here. As we enter into our garden, this is our potato field. We have two different batches of potatoes that we have planted this year. This first batch, they were planted around 4 months back and they are almost ready to be harvested. And this next to these potatoes we planted around 3 months back, and they still have a month or over a month to go before they'll be ready for harvest. And moving on from potatoes, on the other side of the garden is where we grow most of our vegetables. And here we have where we grow our peas. We are growing sugar snap peas here. We have a lot of these peas that are ready to be harvested. So hopefully we'll be cooking up some sugar snap peas really soon. And with these peas, we have also interplanted some beetroots and some fenugreek. So beetroots still has a bit of a ways to go, and we were hoping that while peas take up that vertical space towards the end, beetroot would be able to cover the soil really well. And with beetroot in this area, we've also planted fenugreek, and this we are hoping to harvest really soon. This is almost ready. And this portion of our garden starts with these strawberries. These strawberries, this is their first year here, and they are producing a lot of flowers and also some fruits. So we are really looking forward to eating these strawberries soon. Also, these flowers look so beautiful, like the strawberry patch, the whole patch is filled with these small white flowers. These are really nice. And next to strawberries, we is where we had lettuce and kale planted. A lot of our lettuce is starting to bolt now and doesn't taste really good. It's starting to taste a little sour. But we are not going to take these out. These lettuce plant will stay in the ground until we need this space for the next planting. And the reason for that is that although we're not gonna eat these lettuce, they're still providing the soil with a lot of life, and they're also providing the soil with the shelter it needs in this heat. So leaving these plants in their place is really important for the soil health, because we grow everything organically here and we don't use any fertilizers or pesticides. So it's really important for us to make sure that we let the plants do their job as well as they can. And with lettuce we also have kale. We this is a There are four kale plants here and they've grown so big that it's very difficult to even distinguish between them. And in between lettuce and kale we have parsley growing, that is growing really well. We've been eating this parsley in cooking whenever we need it, so this is going really well as well. And with going ahead, we also have another kale plant here that is going really well under the shelter of this sunflower that volunteered. Uh, you may see a lot of sunflowers in my garden, like all of the sunflowers in here. There is a sunflower back there, and there are a few more. All of these sunflowers actually volunteered from the planting of sunflowers that we had last year. So I guess a lot of the birds spread out those seeds and they've just grown everywhere. So besides all of these, we have carrots here, and carrots for us didn't grow really well. We had two different varieties of carrot that we planted. One is here and the other one back there, but they didn't really grow really well. And even though like we got a lot of green on them, when we pull one out, let's see, the we didn't really have a lot of root on it. So these roots were not really good or edible, but the greenery was very prolific. So we are not gonna eat these as well, but we are leaving this greenery in place, and we're gonna stay here as a ground cover and let their roots stay in the soil for now to provide life and nutrients for all the critters that live in the soil. So for now these will stay here, but when we are ready to plant we are gonna plant peppers and tomatoes here. So when we are ready to plant those for the summer, we are gonna take these out then, and then these will go into our compost and hopefully become soil for the next year. And the same thing happened with our patch of carrots here, that they none of them really grew well, so we are doing the same thing with them as well. Another root crop that we really love in our house are radishes. We grew three types of radishes this year. These are watermelon radishes. They had a really nice pink flash, which I loved and my wife loved. So we ate a lot of these, but we have left a few plants here to go to seeds and to produce seeds for the next year. So these few plants for watermelon radishes are now left over from the season. We are hoping that these flowers get pollinated and we get some seeds from these plants for the next year. So fingers crossed on that one. Similar to watermelon radishes, we also grew green neck radishes, and for these as well we have left two plants here that are going to flower. Actually this one has so many flowers, and if we look at the root of this plant where all this energy is coming from, you will see that this plant has a really big nice root. So that explains how well all of these flowers are growing. And if we look closely, a lot of these have actually gotten pollinated. As you can see, all of these pods. So what happens with radishes is that once they have matured, they will produce these flowers, and these flowers get attract a lot of bees. I've seen a lot of moths and bees on these flowers, and once they get pollinated, they will turn into these small pods like this, and over time the seeds inside these pods start to grow up. As you see, this is slightly bigger, this is slightly bigger, this is even bigger, and eventually they will become slightly bigger than this and then dry up. And when they dry up, we'll extract seeds from these and save them for the next year. Next to these radishes, we have another variety of beetroots growing. These beetroots we planted as a succession crop to these radishes. So we had green neck radishes growing all in this planter, and once they started to grow a little, we started pulling out and eating the green neck radishes, and in its place we started planting these beetroots. So this allows us to maximize the utility of this space, to make sure that between the winter and the summer vegetables, the main crops that we are growing here, the waiting time we have, we are growing beetroots here in that time. By the time our tomato and pepper seedlings will be ready, hopefully these beetroots will be ready to be harvested, and then we'll take these out and plant tomatoes in its place. I grew a bunch of nasturtium seedlings from leftover seeds from last year. So I had a bunch of seeds. I sowed them randomly in different spots. And nasturtium flowers are really interesting because they attract big bees. I have seen with my radishes, they attract a lot of different moths and small and big bees. But I've seen a couple of varieties of dark colored big sized bees that only are attracted to these nasturtium flowers. We harvested a lot of broccoli this year from our garden. We have a few plants left over that we let go to seed, but most of the broccoli we already harvested and some of it we have already ate. With broccoli, we had a few plants here. This one is left over for pollination and for seeds, and then we had a few plants growing here as well. Most of them, as you can see, these leftover greens from the broccoli, we just leave them in their place. We don't take, like, we don't uproot them, we don't take them out. Most of the greens, when we harvest a vegetable, we leave the greens in place, and these right now are providing the soil with a lot of cover. For example, this, if I look underneath this, you can just notice the difference. This is the soil that was bare, and this is looking very dry, and this was the soil that was covered underneath these leftover. And look at the, this is much more, this is soft, this is like, this is the, like, the perfect type of soil. It even has a few roots in here. So that this is the thing that we practice all over in my garden, and this is something our soil loves. And besides, so most of the broccoli is acting as soil cover for now. These This plant we left for seedlings, and this one actually, we took a big head of broccoli from this, and it sprouted two side shoots, and it has grown these two as well. So we're gonna harvest these as well. This is a little bonus meal for us. Next to broccoli is our primary planting of onions. So last year we planted a bunch of onion, and they lasted us for 6 months. So we didn't have to buy onions for 6 to 7 months. This time we have not planted as many onions. There are a few back there, and this planter and this planter. But for our family of two, these will also be give us a nice, really real nice crop of onions that would last us for a while. And next to onions is our third variety of radishes. These are French breakfast radishes. If I pull one out, let's see. So these have also, yeah, so these are really nice radishes. I love the this color gradient on these. This is slightly overripe, but when they're really young, when we harvest them, usually when they're young, this color gradient looks really nice. The pink is really nice, the white, like, and inside as well. This is my favorite type of radishes for snacking. French breakfast radishes are soft on the inside, and they're not very chewy, so the texture is really nice. They have a little bit of a sweeter flavor, not as pungent or as many other varieties of radishes. So this I love. And some of these are also starting to bolt, so we're gonna let them be as well. I'm hoping to get some seeds from these as well to grow French breakfast radishes next year as well. So yeah, this is my garden. Now let's head over to the other side and plant some seeds. So before we start sowing our seeds, I need to set up all the pots in which I need to plant the seeds. For seed starting, I use these nursery pots that I have accumulated over the years. These are your like, I think 6-inch pots, or maybe 4 or 6-inch pots. I prefer these over seedling trays because they hold a little more moisture, a little more soil, so there is a lot more room for error for us. So if we don't water these for a day or two, or like we miss watering sometimes, the soil is not just gonna dry up immediately and kill your plant. Similarly, if we face some delay in transplanting these seedlings into the planters, then even in that case, these pots give us a little bit more room to be flexible with how we do things. With seedling trays, it's a big cost saver in that you don't need this much cocoa peat and compost and like potting mix going into your seed starting, but they also save a lot of space. But I have struggled a bit with seedling trays in the past because if you just miss if you ignore them for a day or two, then you don't know what's going to happen. If it's a hot day, they're gonna dry up, or if it's a cold day, the seeds are gonna get cold. So there isn't a lot of room for error with the seedling trays. So we use these pots for our seed starting, and the scale at which we're doing things, it's not that big of a problem for us. So I have these pots, and I have my potting mix is basically 50% cocoa peat and 50% compost. The compost is heavy on carbon. It's a lot of it is mostly leaf mold. So the compost plus cocoa peat gives me a good combination. I add soil because that just introduces more diseases to your seedlings. So for initial stages, I just use cocoa peat and compost. And what I've done is I have put put the potting mix in all of these pots. First of all, now I'm gonna drench. So I have water in this bucket, in this box. I'm gonna drench these in water, let the soil settle in, and then I'm gonna start planting seeds in these. So for now, we're gonna like soak all of these pots with water. So once I have watered all of these pots, I'm gonna start sowing seeds in them. And I have some spare potting mix left over that I'm gonna use to top these pots after planting seeds in them. And then I have this setup where I have a plastic sheet, and most all of these pots, after they have the seeds in them, they will go underneath this plastic to retain moisture and heat at night time. So I'm hoping that this setup would provide me with enough moisture retention that I won't have to worry about watering them daily, and they would probably stay in under somewhat stable moisture and humidity and temperature conditions. All right, now to the exciting part. I am very excited to start this process because this is where it all gets started. We start it now, and a couple of months down the road, we'll be eating all of these things that we're planting now. So I'll start with tomatoes. I have four varieties of tomatoes. Actually, yeah, four varieties of tomato that I wanna be planting this season. There is I wanna plant San Marzano tomatoes for protein sauces and gravies and stuff. I wanna then plant tropical sunset tomato. It's a very nice variety um, of cherry tomatoes, and one I want to plant is Cherokee purple, and that I want to plant for sandwiches. Actually, they have a nice big size, so it's a nice sandwich tomatoes. And then I have one variety of tomatillo that I'm trying this for the first time. I've never grown tomatillos, but I'm hoping that uh, I'll to try them out this season. So we'll start with tomatoes. These four varieties, and after tomatoes, I have peppers. I'm growing two types of peppers for now. I have more that I've ordered, and but that package is in the shipping for now. But so for now, I have Cubanelle peppers and Serrano peppers. So these I'm gonna plant now, and then I have jalapenos and red Thai chili uh, in transit. So those I'll plant later on. So tomatoes and peppers, and after this I am growing zucchini, black beauty zucchini. Zucchini is something that I grew last year, and it gave me so much vegetables that I really just loved it. Like zucchini is such a prolific plant, grows really well in this area, especially in early summer. And then I have four varieties of cucumbers growing. Um zucchinis and with cucumbers. I actually had I wanted to grow two varieties, but I ended up ordering four by mistake. So now I have four varieties. I'll see if I grow all four because I only have enough space to plant two varieties, and I wanna plant. By the way, all of the seeds that I order, all of these seeds are open pollinated. So I wanna always try to plant these, but then try to save the seeds so that next year I can reuse those. So that way we save up a lot of the cost on our part, but also like all of the fuel and heat and all that stuff that is happening affecting our climate. So that reduce our footprint further. So I have two varieties of pickling cucumber, national pickling cucumber and Wisconsin SMR cucumber, and one marketed cucumber that I'm gonna grow. Those are long variety cucumbers. And then I have eggplants. Eggplants, I have diamond eggplants. These are the long ones, long black eggplants. Um, Eggplants are really good for me. I love eating eggplants, and they grow really well in the hot weather that we usually have here. And besides this, I have two varieties of watermelons, black diamond watermelons. These are big watermelons, really nice ones. And then I have sugar baby watermelon. And with sugar baby, the interesting thing is that I planted sugar baby watermelons last year, and we I had around 6 or 7 fruits that were like starting to form, the very small ones, and then we had to move to this apartment. So we moved here like a few months ago, 5 6 months ago, and when we had to move, I had to pull the watermelons out unripe, and then I had to throw them in the compost. So this time around, I'm hoping to grow sugar baby watermelons and try them out for myself. And then I have two varieties of melons, orange flesh and canary yellow melon. And these I'm gonna try to grow on trellis on the side where I have potatoes at the moment. Um and then besides these, I have lavender bush bean variety. One I'm gonna grow this. I'm gonna grow Swiss chard, rainbow Swiss chard. I have. Then I'm gonna grow okra, but I'm not gonna plant here. Okra I'm gonna plant direct sow these. So in order to direct sow these, I need to free up some of the potato plants, like that space. That is where okra will go, and some of these I'm gonna grow where I have lettuce right now. So some of these I can plant right away, but these are not. This I'm gonna plant later on. The same goes for sweet corn. I have golden bantam sweet corn, and that I'm also gonna direct sow in place of potatoes. And besides this, I also have black Russian sunflower. Uh, I ordered these, and after that, I noticed that a lot of the sunflowers that I had planted last year, they are starting to volunteer. Like I've got like around 10 15 sunflower plants out there right now. So now I'm wondering whether I should plant this or not, because having one variety ensures that I get the same variety next season as well. If I plant this as well, then I'll need to put in some effort to save seeds. But I'll see. I'll plant a seedling for now because I do have the seeds, and I'll think about it when I'm transplanting how to handle this situation. And besides this, I have two herbs, dill and mint, lemon mint. These I'm also gonna direct sow into one of the planters. So with that, I think I can jump right in and get started with San Marzano tomatoes. So what I do is that I take one of these pots and I plant 3 or 4 in these. So 3 or 4 seeds I plant. Out of those 3 or 4 or 3 or 2 germinate, and then but these are like planters are big enough that there is enough space that if there are 3 plants in there, you can separate the root balls out without damaging them. So with these planters, I plant around 4 seeds with these bigger ones, maybe 5 seeds, so 4 to 5 seeds each planted. So that's how, and I am aiming for not like I don't need a lot of plants. We are only a family of 2 people, so we want to be mindful of how much we grow as well. Uh, but we'll see. I'm for each of these varieties, I'm gonna plant 2 of these for now, and I'll do one successive planting in after 2 weeks, in which I'll plant 2 more. So that's how I am going for now. So we'll start with San Marzano tomato, and I have a tape here with me with a pen. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use these to label the pots. So I planted the remainder of the seeds in the afternoon, and I am done now. I've planted all of the seeds that I wanted to plant for vegetables, and I didn't plant okra and corn, sweet corn. Those I think I'll plant. I'll direct sow them because I have like limited quantity of seeds, and I don't want that some of the seedlings get damaged during transplanting. So okra I'll plant directly. Sweet corn either I'll plant directly, or sweet corn I think I'll plant into pots, but like only one plant in one pot, so that when transplanting them I don't disturb the root ball or anything like that. I'm really looking forward to growing sweet corn this season, so fingers crossed. These are all the pots where I planted the seeds. I planted the seeds. I've used a simple tape to and a ballpoint to basically label them. So I sowed all the seeds, created labels for all of these today, and applied the labels. And now we have all of these different varieties, each with their label. And now we wait for a week or two to see what comes up. So for now, I have covered all of these seeds with a plastic sheet, and we'll see how they grow. I'll give you guys an update once these seeds start to sprout and we have some results. Hopefully, uh, we get a lot of little seedlings out of these. Uh, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.